Right, welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to show you how I fixed a swivel stud into an Air Arms S400 with supporting a bipod. So initially the first thing to do was to mark out on a test piece of wood a centre. You can see here this is the swivel stud I'm using. I just purchased it off eBay for, I think it was $3.99. Just your standard kind of QD equivalent stud. We're not looking at putting anything in from a forearm, from the front of the rifle and the back of the rifle. All we're really looking at doing is just sticking this in to support a bipod, which I'll show you later. This is obviously the stock from the lovely S400. This is the Superlite Hunter Green Edition that we used for myself and my son's target shooting. The depth of this stud from the end down to here is approximately, I think it was, 14 millimeters deep. I'm just using a set of calipers to measure that. So obviously we were measuring 14 centimeters into a wood drill bit. This is a 4.5 millimeter drill bit. The diameter of the stud is 4.9 millimeters. So I'd like to just test that in this test piece of wood by drilling a hole after I've center punched it, and test fitting the stud before we work out how we do this on the actual S400 carbine. I'll put a link below into the description, but there was a fantastic YouTube video on Air Arms South Africa, so a big shout out to the guys over there. I'm just effectively following their instructions with putting a small different spin on how I'm actually doing it and showing you the test fit pieces as well. So all we're going to do is measure the depth with the calipers down to 14 mil. And we'll come slightly down to there. I'm sure you can see it on there again, going from the tip of the drill bit straight down. I kind of use the quickest edge straight down there, marking that, and then just place some masking tape. I'm actually using the frog tape from Screwfix on here. That needs to just come up a slight fraction. We'll go down a slight fraction. And before we lock that off, yeah, that looks about right. Use it, do a loose fit in there, and then you can either just use a knife to mark a hole here, or drill or use a nail and knock a little pin in. This is just a center punch. And as you can see, that just marks a guiding hole, ready for the drill bit to go in. Right, the next thing to do is to get an Allen key that fits the same size as this hole. For me, this Allen key on this particular stud is 3mm, and you can use this as your tool to turn that in. I've drilled the hole straight through, hopefully with the right depth, so we're just going to do the test fit on the particular piece of wood. And this does seem a bit loose at 4.5mm, so I wonder if we need a 4mm drill bit. Does seem a bit too. Right, second hole fitted with 4mm drill bit this time, and I've just changed the Allen key slightly to something that gives me a bit more control. The screw's definitely biting a lot better on this one, and I will put a link in the description of where I got this from. Right, that's a lot better. Yeah. Right, my test piece isn't thick enough for the screw, so that's why I've just left it a little bit brown. But as you can see, it definitely fits a lot tighter. So I'm going to try the 4mm drill bit first in the stock, and then if we need to, we can always widen it slightly. But this does feel a better fit. So I'll put that to one side. Now the next thing with the stock really is, I'm not sure if you can see this, let me just adjust that camera slightly. How's that? Yeah, that looks a bit better. Okay, so you can see the stock here. It's a lovely stock actually, a lovely rifle. I managed to pick this up second hand, as it's our first kind of stint with the family into air rifle shooting. So the end of the stock's here. It's a thick stock, very thick stock, as you can see. So we opted for the small, or the shorter stud for this side. I know normally on the butt, if you're going to put a sling on there, that you'd go for the longer one. They do come in a set as well, or they can come individually, and we've just got the individual ones. So the main thing first is to really work out that center line, which you can see directly down here is running, and we're going to put some tape across here to mark that. I want it kind of, I want the bipod forward of this, but not right near the end, so I'm just going to mark straight down here with the masking tape. And then that will give us the surface for where we can start backing towards. Right. And what we really need to do is get a straight edge. And you know, really run that very rough at the moment until we work out the thickness, but the very rough center. And at the moment I'm just really eyeballing it. And very lightly just putting a line down there for now. This is the bipod. It's the swivel tilt action one from ZDO. I'm not sure if you can capture that on the camera. Again, I'll put a link to that and let you know how that performs as well. As it's my son's rifle, We've opted for a slightly cheaper one than the normal D-bands. Usual bipod comes out and it's got the spring action legs, which I think is more important, so that they spring out as opposed to springing in. So at least when you've got the rifle with its weight on there, you can spring out and then you can use the weight to come back in a notch or two for your desired level. So we'll just test fit this and see exactly kind of where we want to do that. I'll show you a little trick what I'm going to do later, which I picked up on one or two of the forums, that will stop the stock from getting marked as well. And what I'm trying to look for is around the edges, is to really see a slightly flusher fit than bringing it all forward like this. And then after that we'll mark the centre line properly and the thickness of the stock. So I think we're going to look at around there. Just mark there. I think that's roughly eyeballed it. Yeah. Okay, so with the calipers zeroed, we need to get the thickness of the stock correctly. I'm going to get in the way to do that. Put this down here. So 49.92, so let's just, I would say that's more 50 mil, 5 centimeters. Which then means the centre is 2.5, 25 mil, which is there. So we know, sorry you can't see this in the camera, can you? So we know that this is going to be the centre line, and now that we know this is where we're going to put the stock, put the hole for the stud, which is just there. Okay, back with you now, and as you can see if we can focus slightly more into there, there's the hole, nice and clean. Now we test fit the stud, and of course with the tape off as well, nice and clean. Okay, and now we're putting the stud in. We're doing it very slowly. Very slowly, sorry. And we want the stud to be directly right angles to the stock. Right. One more turn. I want to do it really slowly because I don't want to. I might switch now to the other Allen key. It was a little bit stronger. Here we go, last turn. and we're at 45 now. Kind of cat. No, it's not catching. I wonder if we do another. I don't think another turn will do it. No. So we're kind of there. Okay. There we go. Let's come back when the bipod's fitted. Okay, right, I had some felt, a sheet of kind of A5 felt I had for another project. It's just adhesive backed felt, but very soft. So the plan is I know this bipod has rubber pads, but I'm going to put some felt round here and round here, just again to protect the stock, and see if I can trim it off. It may not look pretty, or you may see some of the edges coming out, but I would prefer not to ruin or damage this stock, really, to be fair. So I'll get this sized up, put on there, and then show you. Okay, right, so here it is, the felt just adhesived onto that rubber, again just to protect the stock slightly more, and just folded over the sides as well. Now for fitting the bipod. Right, okay, so here we have it with the bipod fitted. You can see slightly the felt, but I'm quite happy with that, because I'd rather have that than damage any of the stock. The other bipod I've got on the Daystate Pulsar, as that's a synthetic stock, it was put on by the local gun shop, so they didn't do that. But I know if I fit any more, I will definitely be using this felt method. It may look silly, but it just helps absorb those, you know, the shocks and stuff. And that's it, fitted there. As this is my first video, you know, I'm sure I need to do some tweaks and changes to it. You can see it's tilt and swivel, so as soon as I get it back on, get the barrel and the mechanisms back on, I will show you what that looks like. Thanks for watching.